puts a fist in Caitlin Clark's throat, and then uses her as a stepping stool, as leverage, trying to get up, putting all 215 pounds of Alyssa Thomas on Caitlin Clark. Again, in the game, no foul. In the game, not a flagrant. In the game, play on. But let's not forget what transpired in the first quarter either.
This was not basketball. This was a message. The scene is the Gainbridge Fieldhouse in Indianapolis, and with 6:52 remaining in the second quarter, WNBA veteran Alyssa Thomas delivered a statement to rookie sensation Caitlin Clark that had nothing to do with a box score. It was a moment that didn't just ignite a rivalry. It detonated a powder keg of issues that have been simmering beneath the surface of a leg trying to find its footing. By driving a fist into the throat of Caitlin Clark, Alyssa Thomas didn't just commit a foul, she weaponized the physicality of the game against its most valuable asset. The move was blatant, violent, and undeniably intentional. It forced the WNBA into a corner, compelling them to act. The result: a mere one-game suspension for Alyssa Thomas. This isn't just a penalty, it's a message that the league is willing to put its star players' safety on the line to maintain a facade of competitive parity. The conflict goes far beyond a single game. It is a crisis of integrity. It reveals a fundamental tension between a new generation of talent like Caitlin Clark and an old guard of players like Alyssa Thomas who feel the need to stamp their authority, or their resentment, into the hardwood. This is the story of a league playing with fire and the superstar who might be the one to get burned. The incident with Caitlin Clark wasn't a singular moment of frustration. It was the culmination of a targeted campaign by Alyssa Thomas. The narrative presented by the WNBA Communications Department is a masterclass in bureaucratic understatement. They claim Alyssa Thomas recklessly made contact with her fist to the throat area of Caitlin Clark. But semantics can't sanitize the reality of what viewers saw. The video evidence is damning. Alyssa Thomas placed a knee into the groin of Caitlin Clark, then drove her fist into her throat, using the Fever's star as a stepping stool as she rose, leveraging all 215 pounds of her weight onto Caitlin Clark. The sheer audacity of the act highlights the contempt that Alyssa Thomas seemingly has for Clark's presence on the court.
Occurred with 6 minutes and 52 seconds remaining in the second quarter of the Mercury's 111-109 win over the Fever last night at Gainbridge Fieldhouse. Per WNBA rule, the league office has the option following its review of any game to reclassify a flagrant foul or to classify as flagrant any foul not called as such during a game and may impose a fine and/or suspension. Alyssa Thomas will serve her suspension on June 27th when the
What's even more egregious is the context of the officiating. In the game, no foul was called, not a flagrant foul, just a play on. This isn't just an oversight, it's a dereliction of duty. The officials allowed Alyssa Thomas to police the court with impunity. Was it because of the sorority mentality that permeates the league? Or is it a systemic failure to protect a star player because of underlying prejudices regarding Caitlin Clark's race and background? It harkens back to a similar situation earlier in the season, where Alyssa Thomas was called for an offensive foul for running through Caitlin Clark on an illegal screen in the first quarter. It was a warning shot that went unheeded by the referees. The WNBA's review system, which was designed to correct these injustices, is ultimately a band-aid on a gunshot wound. They fined and suspended Alyssa Thomas, but the damage is done. Caitlin Clark now knows that in the eyes of the league, the punishment for assaulting her is merely a day off. It's a strategic calculation by the WNBA. They need the television ratings and endorsements that Caitlin Clark generates, but they are afraid to show her preferential treatment. By slapping Alyssa Thomas on the wrist, they are essentially greenlighting this kind of rough play, telling the rest of the league that Caitlin Clark can be targeted with minimal consequences. The suspension of Alyssa Thomas is a de-escalation tactic, not a punishment. Why is Alyssa Thomas so intent on roughing up Caitlin Clark? The answer is complex, but it begins with a simple human emotion: jealousy. As Boomer Esiason pointed out, there is a petty jealousy aimed at Caitlin Clark because she's a straight white basketball player. This isn't just a talking head's opinion. It's the uncomfortable truth that the media and the league are terrified to address. Alyssa Thomas and players of her generation grinded for years in obscurity, playing for peanuts while fighting for basic recognition. They built the foundation of the WNBA. And now here comes Caitlin Clark. She's a white player who is drafted and immediately becomes the face of the league, commanding more airtime, more money, and more attention than anyone has seen in the WNBA's history. Alyssa Thomas may view Caitlin Clark not as a teammate or even a rival, but as an interloper who is reaping the rewards of a league she helped to build without having earned it in the trenches. This creates a dangerous psychological dynamic where Alyssa Thomas feels it is her duty to humble Caitlin Clark, to show her that the league is a physical war zone, not a college highlight reel. The media's response highlights the hypocrisy at the heart of the situation. Sports media rarely talks about the WNBA product unless it involves Caitlin Clark's drama. The league office, as the podcast host points out, seems to enjoy this arrangement. They get the notoriety, but they aren't forced to change anything.
You're not the NBA. You don't have an 11-year, $77 billion contract. You are building the league. You just reached an incredible collective bargaining agreement. You understand they did a great job with that. The league is growing, and it's reaching some of its aspirations, no doubt, but there's still a lot more work to be done. Don't get in the way of the cash cow. You don't sit up there and pave a way for her and don't compete. Nobody's implying that. But you certainly ride that tidal wave of popularity. And
Stephen A. Smith's commentary encapsulates the larger issue. These are business decisions. The WNBA is building a cash cow in Caitlin Clark, but they are actively allowing Alyssa Thomas to endanger it. In other leagues, the physical safety of the king is paramount. The NBA protected Michael Jordan from the Detroit Pistons' Jordan rules. The NFL changed rules to protect quarterbacks like Tom Brady. Alyssa Thomas's actions would have gotten her a massive fine and a lengthy suspension in those leagues, because their business models are built on the health of their superstars. The WNBA, seemingly paralyzed by politics and afraid of accusations of favoritism, is letting Alyssa Thomas dictate the physical fate of their most important player. It's a suicidal business model. The suspension of Alyssa Thomas is a slap on the wrist, but the consequences of this incident for Caitlin Clark could be league-altering. If Alyssa Thomas and players like her are allowed to believe that the price of assaulting Caitlin Clark is a single-game suspension, the physical toll on Clark will become untenable. Players like Leon McCoy have made the blunt prediction: if the league doesn't get this under control, there won't be no WNBA. While this might sound like hyperbole, the financial reality supports his claim. Caitlin Clark is the WNBA's economic engine. When she plays, attendance skyrockets, merchandise flies off the shelves, and television networks break their necks to cover the league. The moment she goes down to an injury caused by Alyssa Thomas, the WNBA will be hit with a 2008-style financial crisis. And what if Caitlin Clark decides she's had enough? What if the daily physical abuse from players like Alyssa Thomas pushes her to walk away?
Money gonna drop. All I'm saying is, when Michael Jordan was the man, the NBA made sure, all right, we can't be doing the Pistons. Y'all can't be doing it to him no more. Give me another star, LeBron. Right? They made this whole big thing about him going to different teams, all that. It's the king. Let's put that shit underneath the rug. So when you got a star player like that, I go even better. Quarterbacks in the NFL, they hurt Tom Brady's knee. From now on, no more. You can't tie the quarterback by their knees. That's dead.
The international market is tantalizing. Boomer Esiason speculated about Caitlin Clark playing overseas. If she were to go to a European league or a lucrative venture, she would earn the royal treatment and millions more, protected by rules and referees who understand her value. If Caitlin Clark leaves, the financial crisis for the WNBA would be immediate and catastrophic. The viewership drops, the sponsorships vanish, the media moves on. The league essentially reverts to its pre-Clark state, but with the added stench of having driven away its only icon. The move to suspend Alyssa Thomas is a strategic one. The league office is trying to placate the media and the general public while hoping the story blows over. They are praying that Caitlin Clark, like the stoic competitor she is, will just take the punches from Alyssa Thomas and smile for the cameras. But this is a miscalculation. Athletes are not martyrs, they are mercenaries.